Boys, we were in the thick of things. Football coming at us every weekend, having a lot of fun, and now this is the worst week in football. It's the international break.
Wait. You guys had football the past 2 weeks?
Yeah.
This is Red Card Radio.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, that's Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, hello. Commiserations on the international break. I'm. It sucks. It's no good.
Well, you get to see Christian Pulisic actually playing.
Hey, we don't know yet. We gotta wait to see Graham's top 9. Apparently, Broja's top 10. Apparently, Broja's gonna be in it.
Okay. Oh, it's not a top 11.
12.
It is.
Does he have a top 12?
There's a top 12.
I thought that's what
No,
Chelsea's
no.
going
I
for
don't
these days.
know how many players did your owner want?
I don't know. All of them?
It's a first 12 at Chelsea these days. Yeah, so we're just going to jump right into it. Of course, we are reviewing the games from this past weekend. Of course, there were 7 of them. 3 of them were postponed. But let's, before we get into the specific results, we are going to jump into the league table so I can get out of the way. Of course, this is my weekly reminder that the league table is useless at this point. It doesn't mean anything. With that being said, do you guys know who's in first position? Because I do. Going into the
We do need people to like, subscribe, rate, and review.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a fair point. And 5-star and leave us a comment and share it with a friend.
And everything. We need all interactions.
Do all those
for
things.
Google.
Yeah, it's Operation Trick Google is still in full effect.
And YouTube. And we need all of them tricked. We did
We did trick YouTube once.
Trick the
internet. We just gotta do it again.
Yeah. So we do all those things. Help us out. If you're new here, if this is the first time you're seeing us, we're a lot of fun. Trust me. And you want to come back week after week, multiple times a week, because this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a highlight of your week. So hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, hit the like button. That really helps the algorithm. Share this with a friend. If you're on a podcast, if you are able to rate and review, do that on your platform. If not, then hit us up on Twitter or something like that. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We love to interact with you guys.
We love comments. Love comments.
They're fantastic.
We do.
So please do all those things. It would make us feel very happy, and it would lift us up as we go into this international break, as we have to suffer for almost 2 weeks with no club football. But as you can see, if you're on YouTube, I've got the league table up. We're just going to quickly hit it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter till 10 games are played. But in first position is Arsenal. They are on 18 points. Quick pause. I saw a tweet the other day that said, in the past 3 seasons, it's taken Arsenal 11, 16, and 13 games to amass 18 points. And this year we've done it in 7. Could you imagine taking 16 games to amass 18 points? That's just dumpster fire.
Well, last year was particularly rough for you guys.
Well, it wasn't even last year. It was the year before when we started fairly
well. That was the 16.
And then we just went on like a 10-game losing streak, essentially. But I digress.
Last year you had a rough patch, too.
We had the rough start. Last year we started off no points out of the first 3 matches, but okay. Yeah. Second position, Manchester City. Third is Tottenham. They're on 17 points, 1 point behind Arsenal. In 4th position is Brighton. United are in 5th. Fulham are still in 6th. Chelsea are in 7th. Liverpool 8th. Brentford 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Newcastle. Bottom half of the table starts with Leeds. We go to Bournemouth. Everton are up to 13th. Southampton are in 14th. Villa are in 15th. Crystal Palace 16th. And just outside the relegation zone is Wolves. They are in 17th. In the relegation zone, David Moyes, West Ham United, Nottingham Forest, and then Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City have yet to record a victory. They are 1 draw, 1 point. They are languishing in 20th position. And I know that the league table doesn't matter because in 3 matches they could have 10 points and that would put them further up the table. But we were talking a couple weeks ago, Sean, that the league table kind of, it's a momentum thing at this point, right?
You know what I'd like to liken it to is if you were a gold digger in the 1840s and like you put all the dirt in the sifter, and
Yeah.
then you kind of shake it out and see if there's any gold in it, and all the dirt falls through, but the gold stays. This is the time where you start to shake the sifter.
Got it.
And then like all the dirt's just gonna go back down to where it's supposed to be, and then the gold's gonna stay up. So we're gonna see who's sifted out of here.
Speaking of shaking it up, let's go down this rundown. Kicking off the weekend at Villa Park, Southampton was visiting. Villa get the 1-0 victory at Southampton. Forest hosting Fulham in the promotion commotion, as Sean called it last week. Forest won that game.
Commotion.
Yeah, I like that. I'm keeping it. Forest lost that game to Fulham. Fulham that game 3-2. Up at the Molineux, Wolves hosting City. Unsurprisingly, City win 3-0.
All right. Well, I gotta stop you there. I got the rundown. I got it, and I got an in Fuego Rapido.
Ooh, are we doing this?
Coming at you. You don't even need his rundown of what happened. You just need to know what I'm about to tell you right now.
I'm gonna get a drink of water.
Here we go. Okay, drink some water. I got it. Brighton are still in fourth. They ain't done shit. Brittany's Brentford Bees because she newly selected a team. She likes Brentford. They are top half.
It's a bad week.
And they can only
bad week to pick Brentford. Just saying.
Well, that's okay. They're still top half. They can be passed by only two teams if they happen to win their games. Mitrovic without Mitrovicing. Because last week I said Mitrovic is going to Mitrovic. So he did it, but he didn't do it. Nottingham are... You heard me. Yeah. You heard me. Nottingham are close. They're in every game. All right, so negative goal differential. I want to run through the teams that have a negative goal differential. That would be Leicester, Nottingham, West Ham, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth, who have negative 13. Goodness gracious. And then Chelsea. The Fighting Americans keep getting points. That's Leeds for everybody keeping tabs at home. That's the Fighting Americans. And then I wanted to point out that Son has as many goals as Firmino, Jesus, Jack. This is assist.
Oh, he's on the wrong page, guys.
Yeah, I was on the wrong page.
My goodness.
No.
Stop it. We'll take it from the top.
And Fuego Rapido ruin.
Son has as many goals as Firmino. Also starts with Firmino and Rashford again. So I actually wasn't wrong in the first two names that I said. Pascal Grobe, Raheem Sterling, James Maddison, Odegaard, Diaz, Martinelli, Bernardo Silva, and that's it. Just to let you know, that's Gabriel Jesus.
No, it's Martinelli.
Who has
Jesus has
Martinelli? He has 4 because he scored one. Grobe.
Gross.
Holland is not a human.
It's true.
He is not.
Confirmed.
And I started out wanting to make a dunk on Everton. So the joke I wanted to make was Everton are doing their best Preston North End impression. And if you haven't paid attention with what's going on with Preston North End and the Championship League, you should. They have played 10 games. They have scored 3 goals and given up 4. It is an attack, and it's an assault on everyone that likes watching football. Everyone that enjoys watching good football should hate Preston North End. And I wanted to make a joke about Everton doing the same thing, but I can't even do that because there's 2 teams just as bad. Wolves and West Ham have 3 goals scored through 7. It is just as offensive to the eyeballs to watch them as it is to watch Preston North End. And James, lead us into who played.
So I want to start with Everton and West Ham. You were trying to dunk on Everton, and you ended up dunking on West Ham anyway. So let's just start there. This was El Sacchio Part 3 or 5, depending on your counting scheme. But that was at Goodison Park, and so we did something different last week where we picked scores for that game before we talked about it, before we analyzed it. Yes, Brad, chill out for a second. I'm getting there. The game ended 1-0 to Lampard and Everton. Brad did correctly predict a 1-0
2
victory.
in a row. It was written in the stars.
God.
For my boy Frankie to get that dub and El Sacchio.
Is that it? Is you got any more?
So instead of him getting El Sacchio'd in September, he's going to get El Sacchio'd in December.
January probably.
It's got to be either November.
It's got to be November or January. There's a month off for. That would be really cruel if they sacked him in December before they came back. But Sean, I will also say that I correctly predicted that Everton would win. I had more hope in Everton. I said that they would win the match 3-0. Sean picked West Ham 2-1.
I still stand by my statement. West Ham just have too many good players. It's going to come through at some point, right?
Yeah, but
like skill just shines through at some point.
Yeah, life finds a way, but it's going to be with a different manager. It's not going to be with David.
I told you guys, faithful followers of Red Card Radio. I have been telling you since week 3, match week 3. I've been telling you Moyes is getting sacked.
Yeah,
because I looked at the schedule and was like,
Moyes is getting sacked.
No, you don't try to jump on this chain.
So I will say, you were on the Moyes getting sacked train way earlier than I was. I think the biggest issue with West Ham right now is the amount of money that they've spent. So like
that's why I'm saying he should get sacked. We've spent a lot of the board has got to be thinking we've spent a lot of money to get you the players that you want, and now you've got them and you still stink.
And on top of that, like with the season that they had last year, they made it to the semifinal of the Conference League. They finished 7th. Like it's all around a very good season for West Ham United last year, and this year, I know it's still young. I know the season, there's a lot of games left to be played, but it seems like pretty stark regression at this point. Now, I will admit I have no idea what they're doing in the Conference League. I have not paid attention to that in the slightest. Maybe they're doing really well in the Conference League. I don't know.
I do feel like they're going to be in a similar situation as you and I. When we sacked our managers and we were like, well, who are we gonna get? But we were just having a conversation before. Did they go the route of Chelsea and just get Marco Silva?
I don't know. The problem is like you can't necessarily like if you're West Ham United, you can't necessarily draw like Chelsea draws. So like like if Chelsea, if West Ham were to go to Graham Potter, for example, back if he was still at Brighton, what incentive?
Yeah, in the same similar situation.
So like
Chelsea was in
with Silva. Like, what incentive does he have to go to West Ham? I guess is my question. That to me seems more like a Pochettino, hiring. Like he's available.
We didn't have this conversation before. That's good
because we're saving Pochettino for a later episode in the week. So check back later this week. We got another episode. We're going to talk more about Pochettino. But I just had this thought. He's available. He likes London. West Ham is in London. There would be no beef from the Spurs fans if you went to West Ham.
That rivalry is one-sided. They hate us. We don't give a shit about them.
Everyone in London hates Tottenham, I think.
Yeah. Because we're Tottenham are the greatest club the world has ever seen. Tottenham are the greatest club the world has ever seen.
He had to change from Tottenham is the best to whatever song they sing to help themselves sleep at night.
I mean, I could sing Arsenal are by far the greatest team.
When when you're everybody's rival, but you're only rivals with one club, it kind of speaks for itself.
Gerald Dix.
I can't specifically speak to the interpersonal geopolitical reasons why everyone hates Spurs in London, but it just seems to be the case.
I think it's anti-Semitic, to be honest.
We are not touching.
Wow. No.
For loyal listeners, I am not going down that road.
Well, that's a can of worms you opened. And
all right, guys. So why don't we talk about the alien? Holland with the Wolves. We're gonna skip over Everton and West Ham and the chicanery that it was at the beginning, because I think Frank let out West Ham and David Moyes let out Everton for a little bit, but we're gonna skip over that because that was probably the best part of the game. Haaland is an alien.
Yeah,
Sean, where's Haaland on your list of goals? How close is Son to Haaland?
I had to scroll up to find him.
Yeah, Haaland's
a long way
at 11 goals.
They actually put number 1, and then they skipped a whole bunch of spaces, and then number 2.
Sean, I got a question for you. Do you have handy the note cards of integrity?
Yes.
Could you just refer to my note card of integrity real quick?
Yep. Got it. All right.
Could you just tell me who I have listed there for the Golden Boot? I'm just.
It starts with an H and ends with Holland.
Oh, okay. So it must be his brother or something. Maybe his dad. I'm not sure.
All right. So
hold on.
Can we talk about Brad pick and Salah, by the way?
Yeah, that's looking.
Now that we're looking at it,
that's gonna look like a bad pick at the end of the year. But no, I want to sit on this Wolves City match for a minute, because we had a conversation. I think it was you, Sean, last week, that was like defending Wolves and being like, but they're really stout defensively. You know, like you could see them making it tough for City. Blah blah blah. All this, that, and the other. And my point was just that, like, it's Manchester City. And I know that Wolves got an early red card, first half red card, and that makes it impossible. Makes it impossible against City.
Well, yeah, but then, yeah, the way they attack the way they attack spaces, they attack spaces on the field when you have 11, or when you have when you have 10. So when you have 9, the spaces are bigger for them to attack. And it just makes it so much easier for them.
Are able to exploit you really well. That's going to be something I'm going to be curious about watching Arsenal this year. If we ever get a situation where we are playing against a team down a man, are we going to be able to break down a low block? That'll be interesting to me.
Well, yeah, I feel like you're going to find that out on October 1st.
Oh, you're predicting red cards. We'll have to look.
No, if you can break down a low block is what I was going for.
Okay, got you.
If once because that I was describing, we'll get into the game, but what I was describing to Brittany, I was showing her how when we back down that 5 and the 3 in front, because we go to a 3, the wings get into that third, or the 4, yeah. So it's 5-4-1.
Yeah.
When we go into our defensive structure, those 9 players move in unison. And like Conte's got them like by a chokehold, because they do, man. Those 9 like move like this.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome to watch.
Conte's been doing that for
years.
10 years now. Like that, like his 5-3-2-1 or 5
No. 4-1.
It's 3-5-2.
3-5-2. Thank you. 3-5-2. His 3-5-2. That's what he's been playing the 3-5-2 for years. Like that's what he was doing with Juve when they started winning their Scudetti. That's what he did at Chelsea. So that's his bread and butter is the 3-5-2, and he does it exceptionally well.
We'll be talking about that soon.
Yeah. Brad, you wanted to talk about Newcastle, Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, Bournemouth were up for a good part. It was a great goal on Bournemouth, and they had an awesome goal scored, playing great. VAR has a call on a handball that in the moment in real time speed, I don't know if it got it right. If VAR got it right in real time. In slow motion, you can 100% see that his arm is out there. But I don't know if you're speeding that up and you're seeing his body turn. If it should have been called a handball that gave Newcastle
I have a question.
The free kick to get the goal.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you, when you say VAR didn't see it, or you're wondering whether or not VAR?
No, the ref didn't see it.
Yeah.
And then when VAR rewatched it, if you're watching it in slow motion, of course, it looks like a deliberate handball. But I don't know in real time if it does.
But okay, so my question for you then, but deliberateness of handball, it has nothing to do. Handball is
okay. Sorry. Natural position.
Are we talking about VAR again?
No. But I just want to clarify something real quick with Brad, because when we talked last week and the week before about VAR, is your position that VAR should not be allowed to look at things in slow motion? Because I thought that your position was that when VAR shows the match official something, the match official shouldn't be able to see it in slow motion.
Sorry. So when they showed it to the match official, it was in slow motion.
Okay, so you have beef with that.
It was the still, and it was the picture, and then it was in slow motion. It wasn't. If you want to show a picture, hey, we think this might be a handball. Here's where the ball hit the arm. And then you play it in full time, in like real time action, so he can see it happening and make the decision then I'm cool with it. Any tackle that's slow is going to look terrible.
Yeah.
Any handball that's slow is going to look terrible. So
that happened.
I think it was a good call. I think it was the right call. I don't know if it's the call that would be made in real time because it wasn't original.
But that's the point. It was a handball in the box. The referee, it was kind of in an awkward position for the match official to be able to see it. VAR sees it, and they get the match official to go look at it. To me, this seems like it's VAR working perfectly and working as intended. Like, this should be something, in my opinion, that we applaud VAR for getting right.
I think I'm so mad because of slow motion. I think that's where it's hurting it.
But then you also end up in a situation like we were. It was 2 weeks ago. With the Tottenham game. When we did VAR, and it was a cane shot that hit possibly off a face that hit an arm, but no camera angle in the stadium had a good angle of if it actually hit the arm or did it hit the face first. And emotions are removed now. That's the correct decision. If you cannot correctly overturn what was called on the field, the correct decision is to just leave it.
Yeah, you need incontrovertible evidence. Like
inconclusive.
You need conclusive evidence to be able to overturn something, in my opinion.
Yes.
And to me, in the Newcastle Bournemouth situation, to me it seems like an obvious handball that the ref couldn't see or didn't see on the pitch that VAR sees and provides more context to the referee. To me, that seems like it's working perfectly.
So we're voting positive for VAR on this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
I think, and I said I agree that I think it was probably the right call. I just still don't like the slow motion.
Sound off in the comments if you watch the match, or so Joel, or if you haven't seen the match, go check the highlights on YouTube. Tell us what you think, because I would be curious to see what the consensus is on that. But I would imagine the consensus would generally be that was the correct situation, the correct call.
It seems
they got it right.
Finally, they adjudicated something correctly. Is what it felt like to me.
The problem is that like we complain about VAR because their errors are egregious, right? But when they get things right, it's just like, okay, yeah, they did that right. They got offside correct. We
forget about it.
Yeah, and you move on. It's the errors that linger. It's the things that cost teams points that linger, and that's why we think about it and it stays on our mind and blah blah blah. But definitely sound off in the comments. I think I don't really think there's much to say about the Spurs Leicester match. Leicester are a dumpster fire. You could have 2 seconds about Son. Come on. Give it to me.
I told you guys weeks ago. Oh, that was about 2 seconds. I told you guys weeks ago that when Son scored, it was going to come. It was going to the floodgates were going to open, and it did. And I can only sum that up in a way that I was watching it with Brittany, and she, after the second goal, she goes to go to the bathroom, and I was explaining to her that he scored with his right foot and his left foot. And all he needs is the header to get the perfect hat trick. And she goes to the bathroom and comes back, and he scored again. And she was like, "Again? Did he get it with his header?" And I was like, "No, unfortunately, he didn't." But that her again was what summed it up for me. Of like, this dude's unreal, man. He just needed to get through that.
All three of his goals were nice.
All three of them were very nice goals.
The curler with the left foot was obviously the best, but
yes,
I don't know.
Yeah. All three were good. The first one, the right footer around the defender into the near post was good. But what I wanted to say about the 3-5-2 was that when Conte put us into a 3-5-2, the creative midfielder was Bentancur. He pulled Richarlison off, or Kulusevski off. No, he put Kulusevski into right wing, I believe. I forget how he did it, but he made it a 3-5-2, and Bentancur was the creative midfielder, and that's the moment. And when it was Son and Kane up top, that's when Son was scoring.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we are so dangerous like this. This is ridiculous. So I was just thinking in the moment, man, imagine if we were just doing this from the beginning. Imagine if we were actually just running Conte's system for the whole time. We would be scoring so many goals and winning so many games.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they hold up in the next one.
We will see. We will see.
We'll see.
Or if he leaves to go back to Italy.
The next one.
All right, but you'll have loyal listeners. You have to wait about a week and a half before we talk about the next one for Spurs, because we've got no football coming up this weekend, but we do have more Red Card Radio coming up for you this week. Excuse me. Check back later this week. Instead of our normal 3 episodes, we're doing 2 this week, so you'll get one at some point and then another couple days down the line. So definitely check back in with us. Again, if you are new here, first time listening, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, share this with a friend, leave us a comment, check out that Bournemouth Newcastle handball and let us know what you think. And if you're on the audio version on a podcast, 5-star, leave us a review, all those things. Share this podcast with a friend. It really helps us out. We're trying to still grow and build and get improvements. So if you have specific suggestions for us, we'd love to hear that too. And everyone who's sticking around with us over the last 2.5 years, we love you all. Thank you so much for continuing to listen. It means the world to us. But if you want to reach out to us, hit us up on Twitter. That's at KSBradG. That guy down there is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany, and we collectively are at Redcard_Radio. Check back in later this week. We got another episode coming for you. We really appreciate it. Have a good one. Good night.